It's that time again. Welcome back to more Hunter x Hunter. Obviously, the Royal Guards are growing slightly. Well, at least one of them. And much less in a literal sense. The fact that he has stepped back from his rampage, Yuppie letting go Knuckle, morale. Basically, everyone said, yeah, okay, it was fun. I owe my thanks to you for unlocking this new function of his brain. Right now, the king needs him, so he's off, galloping away. Pator's still doing her best to relay some life-saving surgery onto Mugi there. Gon is keeping close tabs on her. Exactly if he's blinked or flinched or even breathed during all of this is still up for debate. How long is he going to be able to contain himself? We've spent 8 minutes so far. But there's still some actors out there that are not dealt with. The wolf ant thing still skulking around somewhere. What's going on? The fact that he has learned to love his enemy. Now it's more than just an ant desiring the destruction of humans. The Knuckles' reason to fight wavering like this, you kind of got to think beyond the immediate. You've got millions of people's lives in the balance. I hope Nov appearing now and saying to focus on the king. The royal guards are not the main quarry here. Yeah, I hope that means that we'll be focusing on the chairman and what's been going on the outskirts after the dragon went flying off. Just how far did they actually go? And back when we saw the preparation for all of this and the chairman wondering how strong the king was, how much of an actual fight is he going to put up? In his old age, is the chairman actually a one-to-one for the king, or is it still quite a way off? Well, that answers some of my question. If we're going to see the king, pose and name. Quite a calming introduction here. Just how much further are they going to go? Is the king going to get bored at some point if he doesn't reach there soon? I do like the star dragon celestial effect that he's got, made of sparks and shines. You have reached your destination. Not the softest of landings. But a barren wasteland where they can go all out with no regard for outside interference or life around them. I mean, for the safety of the human race. So the chairman being it being flipped slightly, the chairman being upset that the king's looking down on him there. Not being cocky or anything, the king merely stating a matter of fact. You just got to find those humans. The fact that with no fighting prowess, so to speak, she has actually changed his heart to that regard. What about everyone else? Can we expand on that deal? He's not one to sacrifice the others to save his own skin. However, the exact contents of this conversation, of what Pito is able to inform him of, just how scary is gone right now that he's able to tie them both down right here. But is he even listening? She doesn't quite understand it herself. The fact that the tender care that he showed towards the injured girl, not something that they would even understand. There was a ever so slight easing in his gaze. So, if you want to go to the king, is it in that direction? Well, I do not like the two sides of his face. The king's return. The king's return. Kind of. He's definitely going to wait. Maybe if it wasn't glistening and fluttering away. Really don't like the tiny poofs. And how many times has this off-putting piano been played now for Hunter x Hunter? Rather than letting them wander around under their own regard, was letting it. Human society was left festering for a while. I mean, he's made a pretty good understanding of society right here. Maybe if there was found one that wasn't so inequitable. He's only seen the dregs of the human society based on what he's come across. As long as they fall under his rule and play along nicely. Hmm. He's got quite a grand plan and resolve. Is going to make him, just like Gon, waver ever so slightly. If only they had a board game to play while they're out here. Now, which side is going to win out? And what human was there, or collection of humans was there, to make up that side of him which is so slowly raising in power? To win out his ego and his id. Will they have a philosophical bollocks? And much like the king and the Gamerans having no care or understanding of the humans, that's the same thing that they are falling under now. Crush the bugs, even if there are others that are who have different ways of thinking. He's got a mission to fulfill here, even if his own personal feelings about it are a dilemma. That was a neat little refraction of the environment. And like we saw in the little backstory and his fight with Nefertari, no wasted movements like after images in his fists. Fancy. Hope the king has brought his sunglasses. Yeah, quite a bit bigger in the use of Nen and Aura than we've seen before. Okay. I do like his ability and the way it's designed. Nice song to go along with it as well. I don't think that's going to be enough. Might need to use all the other hands as well. He's slowly cantering along. It's going to take him a while to catch up to the king at that speeds. Yeah. He's, has he changed his hair? So, right now, they're both in forms that are slightly off from their usual appearance. And what's Yuppie going to do with the story that has been relayed to Poof? He is definitely grown from before. We had no thoughts of his own. Hmm. There's a change in Nefertor, there's a change in Yuppie. Is there going to be that moment for Poof as well? Or is he going to be the last holdout and not growing in understanding? Since he's been the most against the king in this path that he's chosen. Ah, flying centaur, whatever the fuck you'd call his arm, proboscis. Entirely sincere, that's their main objective at least. Get away. Get away from the hunters which he would have maybe potentially befriended. Get away from that line of questioning and the suspicion that was levied against him. I really hope the king is still sat in the same position. True blood. That's a sign. Did he just take that full brunt without defense as well, and that's the only damage he sustained? Are you satisfied now? And then went back into sitting. If you're done, still have that talk. Well, he's not great at conversations, this chairman. The fact that there isn't a fight here, the fact that the king is not reciprocating the sense of combat here. Is the king going to be slightly upset now that his wish of talking went unheeded? was no stronger than a child throwing a fit. Well, we now know the reason why he was not really interested in battling. After years of practice and honing his body to what it is now, being brushed off, being shrugged aside as though it was nothing. Back to sitting. He's rather confident in that fact. The fact he wishes that he kinda could just talk. Is it a different type of battle? His name? Now that would be an interesting topic, considering what he was... Considering what he was talking about before this assault on the palace. Now, force him to admit defeat, and he'll get his name in as a prize. Well, he's approaching him. Of course, the king talking in terms that he would understand. Chess, or Gungni, or any other form of strategy board game. I like the build-up and the anticipation there with zero sound for the footstep. Well, there goes the... You have to agree that Netro's face there, pretty good when it's side by side with the king, who's so inexpressive. I think since it's been put to this regard where the king hasn't shown any issues with any sense of anything that he's come across, with the chairman being nothing more than a child in his eyes. The only thing that he's really struggled with is understanding himself. It's not pure battle that's going to win out in this situation. I do like how through that episode we had the little moment with Gon, Nefertari and Poof talking. Well, with Gon listening at least. And he did have a lightening up of his expression. He was taking in some of the words being said here. If he just went through it completely bullheaded, not even listening to what was being said, not taking it in, not possibly gleaning something from it, whether it be good or bad, we would have a few questions about our leading man. It is tough to see who is in the right here. The lines have been blurred so heavily, even with the loss of life so prevalent, the fact that we've got millions of people still undergoing the selection process. And yet, can you say that it was for the worst? When there is such disparity amongst humans, the rich get richer and wider in that leader's case. But the fact that, and with everything kind of filtering down, every action that has transpired over this assault on the palace has done something. Each of the royal guards have changed ever so slightly. Poof still not really shifting too much from his original role, but still. Nifto seeing the care of the king and being brought to tears over it, you becoming into his own understanding, he can be a little more than just rash anger and action. What has our team learned out of all of this? Knuckle having a bit of understanding of UP there. He's not just the monster that was portrayed anymore. I will say, for the fight that I expected of the chairman and the king, I kind of expected this outcome where the king is still having the whole nothing you can do can really affect me kind of thing. Was hoping the chairman would be a little better, considering how easily he swatted away Nefpatel, but like a child throwing a temper tantrum. That was a scathing description of his attack there. But even a child can cause a bit of damage. Is he going to grow through being a toddler and actually be able to converse with the king? Since he holds such leverage with the name, really. Some of what we were seeing there, his aura itself bending the terrain, changing the color palette. I wonder how many rules he's set in place for himself. You know, it gets stronger if they have certain limitations. If this is the chairman unheeded, what if he does have those caveats in place? Will be able to match up with the king? What if the royal guards and the king themselves learn, oh, your powers get stronger if you put binding rules on yourself? Oh god. Still the outlying question though, what about the king's sibling, the one that was born with him, or at least still gestating while he forcibly birthed himself? How is that Chimera Ant doing? Seeing the Queen and Colt and whatnot again. I do want to catch up a bit with that story. Is it going to become pressing relating to what's going on now? Time will tell just how long it will take and if anyone's going to be injured heavily for it. That's a different question. But so far, I haven't seen the need for the chairman to come out into the military testing zone where there's no life around for miles. Most of what he's done so far is relatively contained to around the king. Is it going to stay that way? Now we've got him a little fired up. I can't wait for the next episode. Hopefully you can't too. So, if you've enjoyed this one, leave a like and a comment down below. Consider subscribing to the channel if I have piqued your interest at least slightly. But right now, get some rest so that I can see you in the next one. While I don't exactly know the true intentions of my patrons, maybe they want to sit down and talk, maybe they want to start a world domination and mass destruction on a national level. Either way, I need to thank them for helping me watch anime on the internet. And with that, Noku, Raywin, Sal, Cardboard, Shiwan, Akane, Guado, Tori Jane, Kite, Light Wizard 91, Mega 42, Diego Zenhausen, SZ 9870, Croyville, Maxwell, and everyone else. I really do have to thank you, because you have made me grow and be more than what I was before. Let's be honest, I couldn't have been much worse.